loved it. I'll send you a copy. Bam! Bitch went down.
And welcome back to Horror Queers. We're talking Jada Pinkett Smith. We're talking things that kind of anticipate a bunch of Quentin Tarantino movies. And of course, Billy Zane can get it. I'm Joe.
And I'm Trace. It's actually Jada Pinkett in this movie. She has not been Smithed yet, so you're wrong.
Ew, Smith sounds gross.
I know. Joe, but we have another Canadian guesting with us tonight.
Yes, I managed to sneak another one onto the podcast.
2 weeks in a row of fucking Canadians. I love you. I love you. But I'm really starting to feel ganged up on. But, ladies and gentlemen, she is the programming coordinator at Images Festival and works as a member of TIFF's festival programming team, and is also one of the directors at the Royal Cinema. You've read her work in The Globe and Mail, CinemaScope, Movie Notebook, TIFF's The Review, and Clio Journal. Please welcome Sarah-Tai Black.
Hello! Yes, I am Canadian, but not very proud of it.
Oh, yay!
I'm just living.
Well, because last week we did Ginger Snaps for Canada Day, which
that's huge. Yeah, that's like when you talk about like queer Canadian horror or like cult filming, everyone's like Ginger Snaps, and I'm like, I hate to say it, especially off the top of the podcast after my credentials, but I've never seen Ginger Snaps.
Oh, you should come out. We're doing an event next week.
Oh, then I will come to that.
Oh my god, you have to watch that movie again, Joe?
Okay, I will not apologize for loving Ginger Snaps, and I'm happy to watch it many times.
It's one of those ones that's always like there, just waiting, so I don't feel particularly like I'm going to miss something, because it's always happening.
This is so true.
Well, and we're in the middle of our, like, franchises, 5 weeks of franchises, and I think most of it, because Ginger Snaps had a Scream Factory Blue, the one we're covering tonight, by the way, which is Tales from the Crypt Presents Demon Night, has a Scream Factory Blue, and our movie next week, which we'll reveal at the end of this episode, also has a Scream Factory Blue.
Ooh.
So basically, Scream Factory, why are you not sending us samples? Because we are plugging your shit up.
Yeah, they don't respond to us. Although, I do have Silent Hill left in my cart on their website, and I get an email once a week from them saying, you have this movie in your cart still. And I'm like, God damn it. Like, I don't want to buy it yet. But yes, so we are discussing Demon Night, and that's how I'm going to refer it. I'm not going to say fucking Tales from the Crypt Presents, because that's just...
I'm leaving.
Yeah, I'm done. Which was released on January 13th, 1995, originally scheduled for Halloween of 94, but it got pushed back. Distributed by Universal Pictures with a runtime of 92 glorious minutes. And when I say glorious minutes, though, I mean, like, I really appreciate a 92-minute movie. And, without credits, like 87 minutes.
It's tight. It's a tight 92.
But it fucking flies by, people.
It does. I liked this quite a bit, and Joe, we actually rated it the same on Letterboxd, but I think I'm less enthusiastic about it than you are. I will say the ending pushed it from a 3 to a 3.5 for me.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I don't have budget information for this, so I don't know how much it was made for, but it did open up at number 3, behind Legends of the Fall and something called Higher Learning, which I've never heard of.
Higher Learning, great movie.
Yeah. Sure.
It's great time for Black cinema.
So, Sarah-Tai, what you're going to quickly discover is that Trace is like a sweet baby angel, and his frame of reference is really good around certain topics and certain years. And then it's like a wasteland outside of that.
Very much same. It's like, if it's black, I know it. If it's gay, I know it. If it's like campy horror, I know it. But yeah, there's some things missing for me too. So
no, I've got my 90s slashers. I've got my aquatic horror. I've got some
aquatic
gay
horror.
Stuff.
Yes, let's give it up for the fucking shark in Deep Blue Sea, honey. It is Pride Month, and you have survived.
That is fantastic. But yes, okay, so this movie made $10 million opening weekend and went on to gross $21 million. Adjusted, you're looking at $43.7 million today, and it didn't go overseas. So, I mean...
Oh, interesting.
I do have well, we'll get into it later, but I have... oh, by the way, I should probably ask, have y'all ever seen Tales from the Crypt?
Yes. I watched it I was a bit of a latchkey kid, so... Mm-hmm. I watch Tales from the Crypt all the time. My favorite genre, which it still is to this day, is erotic thrillers.
Oh, yes.
My second crush after Katie Lang was Billy Zane, because I watched him in this erotic thriller called Dead Calm with Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
Which is like a very straight thing to say, but I think it's one of the gayest things about me. Like, erotic thrillers introduced me to Billy Zane.
No, I mean, I feel like, you know, erotic thrillers, especially those like of the early 90s age. And granted, Dead Calm, I've never seen it, but I know what it is. And it's a bit, I don't want to say high class, like, but it's not. It's not.
No, don't say it.
It's not, you know, fucking Sliver. You know?
Yeah.
No, it's classy.
It was definitely an easy find on the old cable television.
Yes.
Whatever W Network was before it was W Network.
Because that's Nicole Kidman and Sam Neill, too,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, yeah, so this movie begins with some erotic horror shit, erotic thriller shit, but before we get to that, really quickly, the reception of this movie was very negative from critics. We're looking at a 38% on Rotten Tomatoes, with an audience score of 64%. So, I mean, I knew that kind of going in, because I've had a lot of people tell me how much they love this movie. I guess it's aged well, because critics just in 95 didn't like it, but I think this was like right after the show ended, or...
No, it's between seasons 6 and 7.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I should say, I've never seen an episode of Tales from the Crypt.
This is a bit of an off-brand piece. Like, I can understand why it fits within that world, but it also doesn't have the kind of, like, morality detail or the kind of ironic twist. Like, the opening segment of this film that the faux movie that the Crypt Keeper is directing is far more representative of what you would have gotten on the TV show.
I think it was written before the TV show started, right?
Yes. Okay. Well, so this is not adapted from the pages of the EC Comics, which is what the show is based on. The first draft of the script was written in 1987. It's 2 years before the show started, as Sarah-Tai said. It was first intended to be made into a film by Tom Holland, who was going to do it as a follow-up to Child's Play.
Oh my god, that would have been so good.
Right?
Yes, but here's the fun part. So he hired an effects team to do the preliminary sketches, but ultimately went on to direct the box office bomb Fatal Beauty, starring Whoopi Goldberg.
May I interject and say that I love Fatal Beauty. Like, the fact that you asked me to come on here for Demon Night is like a beautiful confluence of the stars, as Billy Zane would say. It's like, I love Demon Night, I love Child's Play, I love Fatal Beauty. Everything is like just messy. I can't say enough about Fatal Beauty. Go see it if you want to see Whoopi Goldberg be like a badass cop, like putting white guys in their place, punching white women in the face, standing up for sex workers. Like, it's really great.
What year was that? Is that early
1987? 90s? It's 87. Okay. So, but that's the weird thing, though. Child's Play was 88, but Fatal Beauty was 87. So that doesn't really...
Maybe might have been like a long-in production kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe that was the case. Well, anyway, so the script left Tom Holland, and it wound up in the hands of Pumpkinhead screenwriter Mark Carducci, who sat on it for several years, before it was then given to Pet Sematary director Mary Lambert.
Jesus, this has some weird shit going on.
Oh yeah, wait. Here we go. So Lambert had some quote-unquote radical ideas for the script, including casting an African-American as Breaker, the William Sadler character, to create a theme that the oppressed people of Earth were also its saviors. But this is what happened. Yeah. She went on and did Pet Sematary 2, which bombed, and then she couldn't get people to invest in the film.
Yeah, as we know, because if you followed Mary Lambert's career at all, like, she delivered a hit film, and then literally nobody wanted to work with her.
Well, because she did 2 right afterwards, and it was after. People are blaming Pet Sematary 2, but I'm like, no, y'all just don't like women.
Yeah, basically.
Truly, Bryan Singer's still out here. Give Mary a movie,
right? So it left her, and the script then went to Charles Band's Full Moon Features, but budgetary constraints held up the production in limbo. It finally made its way onto the desks of Joel Silver's Silver Pictures, and it was optioned to be the second in a trilogy of Tales from the Crypt theatrical spin-offs. Universal executives thought the script had more potential than the other 2 films, things called Dead Easy and Body Count, but neither one of those were made. And the film was quickly sent into production with a tentative release date of Halloween 94, and then it was pushed back to 95. But there was also 2 different versions of the movie, one with demons and one without. What? Which is weird.
How would this film work without demons?
So the collector was going to be a Bible salesman who was using a legion of fellow salesmen clad in black suits and sunglasses, later revealed to be demons, as his minions.
So, like, They Live?
Yeah, well, and so basically, a film called Demon Knight with demons that look like killer yuppies made the executives nervous. So Universal threw more money at it so they could do like the gooey demons that are in the film we have now.
Practical effects. Warms my heart.
Yes. I will point out that most of this information is from a Fangoria article from March of 1995, written by Anthony C. Ferrante.
Cool.
So, just a credit right there. I can't link to it, but it's there.
So I have one other weird piece of trivia before I read the plot summary, and it's the fact... So I knew nothing about any of this. I came to this like a babe in the woods.
Are you guys both fresh to Demon Knight?
Well,
yeah,
so
I was.
I had seen parts of it on TV as a kid, so it was
True.
edited. I think it aired on maybe Sci-Fi all the time. But yeah, so I'd seen parts. I'd seen most of the ending as a kid. I for some reason I just missed the first half all the time, and I remember like the creature effects. But again, like I mean, when this was probably on TV, I was probably like 9 or 10.
Mm-hmm.
So it just it kind of skipped me.
Interesting.
Part virgin on this.
So one of the things that I discovered when I was doing a little bit of research on this, it came up in Stephanie Crawford's pieces. She's covered almost the entire run of Tales from the Crypt for Dread Central. But the shortened version on Wikipedia is, so it's got the stuff about the order that the films were going to be made in, but then it also talks about other films that were apparently considered for the Tales from the Crypt movie franchise, and Quentin Tarantino's From Dusk Till Dawn and Peter Jackson's The Frighteners were originally considered.
From Dusk Till Dawn would have worked, I think. I've actually never seen The Frighteners, but I've been told by many people to watch it.
Oh, it's really good. But honestly, when I was watching this movie, I 100% was like, this movie is ripping off From Dusk Till Dawn. And then I looked at the years and was like, oh, From Dusk Till Dawn is ripping off this motherfucking movie.
Surprise, surprise. Tarantino ripping someone off.
Yeah, that's great. Now, Joe, we've made it about 10 minutes in, so can you tell us what this movie's about for anyone who hasn't seen it?
Yes, I can. All right, here we go. After a cold open that is revealed to be a bracketing device wherein the Crypt Keeper introduces the film, Demon Knight opens with a fiery car chase down a deserted road. Breaker, played by William Sadler, escapes the Collector, Billy Zane, and after unsuccessfully stealing a car from a local diner, he stumbles upon helpful Good Samaritan Uncle Willie, Dick Miller, who takes him to a nearly abandoned motel that was formerly a church. That is a run-on sentence. Breaker is given a room from severe owner Irene, CCH Pounder, and hit on by promiscuous Cordelia, Brenda Back. Is it Back or Backy?
I was going to say Backy, but I don't care.
Okay, let's go with Backy. And hit on by promiscuous Cordelia, Brenda Backy, who eventually goes upstairs with her ne'er-do-well boyfriend, Roach, Thomas Hayden Church, in the weirdest, like, giving me emotions in the crotchal area.
Wait,
because
really?
I do not like him at all. But like leather pants and a mesh shirt was throwing the gaydar off all kinds of whack.
Oh, see, I can't do long hair on guys.
Ew, yeah, that was gross.
I always, watching this as a kid, I always thought that Thomas Hayden Church was Ernest, like from Ernest Goes to Whatever.
Oh, I can see that.
So it was so confusing to me, like watching this as a kid and seeing him like obviously coded in this like badass, bad boy, sexy way, and I was like, it's Ernest!
Better movie. No, I'm kidding. He's fine. All right. Fearing that Breaker is up to no good, Irene calls the sheriff, John Shuck, and his deputy, Gary Farmer, who arrive with the Collector in tow, and the Collector attempts to reclaim a cross from Breaker that he appears hesitant to touch. After an altercation, the Collector punches a hole in the sheriff's head and is forced out of the motel by Breaker. Outside, he summons demons from his neon green blood, and Breaker uses red liquid from the cross to safeguard the doors and windows. Eventually, the Collector begins using mental manipulation to infiltrate the protected motel, converting Cordelia into a demon who rips off Irene's arm. Attempting to escape through the tunnels underneath the hotel, final girl Jeryline, Jada Pinkett...
Wait. I have two things about this. First...
If it's about Wally, I don't care, but...
No. First, they wanted Cameron Diaz for Jeryline.
Yeah, which is gross, and I'm so glad that...
Fuck your mother. Cameron Diaz is great, but
No,
Cameron
she's great,
Diaz
but
is my favorite white lady actor.
But she would have been terrible in this movie.
But she would have been bad. And this is like a staple in the Jada genre filmography.
Yes. And I think this would have pulled Cameron Diaz away from The Mask, and I love Cameron Diaz in The Mask. Second thing, though, no one in this movie pronounces Jeryline or Jeryline or whatever the same way. Everyone says it differently.
Yes.
And it really bugged me.
I didn't even notice. I assumed it was Jeryline.
Someone says that. I think
Jeryline.
CCH Pounder says Jeryline, but then Jeryline is what Cordelia says. And then there's like a weird hybrid of the two. And so there's no wrong way to say it, apparently.
I mean, I really figured that we're probably just going to call her Jada the entire podcast, right?
Yeah, Jeryline's not a name.
Okay. Yeah, it was confusing. So, but honestly, God bless Ernest Dickerson, the director, for fighting for Jada, because, I mean, obviously this role is super important, but also Jada is great in this role. So is Ernest Dickerson Black? I actually didn't look into it, but
yes.
I was looking at it. Okay, cool. Because I looked at his filmography. He directed Bones, the Snoop Dogg movie.
Which is really good, by the way. People shit on it all the time, and it's fantastic.
That's like an iconic video store, what do you call it? The thing that the tapes go into?
The cover, like the cover art, the box.
That's an iconic, video box. Yeah.
I've definitely seen that. And then he also directed the DMX movie Never Die Alone.
Yes.
Wait, is it DMX?
It's
okay,
DMX.
Yeah, cool. Got it.
I nodded my head like I was in an interview. It's DMX.
No. I was gonna say, I was like, wait, I was like, oh, fuck, maybe it's 50 Cent, but 50 Cent is Get Rich or Die Trying.
Yes.
So, okay, got it.
Jesus, all these titles sound exactly the same. Okay.
That's why I was confused.
Okay. So, attempting to escape through the tunnels underneath the hotel, Jada picks up Danny, who's the little boy from the diner, and who could care? Eventually, everyone in the motel is converted and or killed, and Breaker reveals to Jada that they are embroiled in an epic battle for the cross, which has spanned centuries, and the cross is revealed to contain the blood of Christ from the times of the crucifixion, in arguably the film's weirdest development. After Breaker is killed by Danny, Jada, and the Collector battle. She covers herself in blood, but she is washed clean and nearly sexually assaulted by the Collector's lightning penis. Eventually, she spits the remaining blood onto the Collector's face, causing him to implode, and then she steals away with the cross on a bus out of town as the next Collector begins to hunt her.
Yep.
Great movie.
It is batshit, and I kind of loved it.
It's amazing.
I enjoyed it quite a bit, but I mean, I had trouble in the beginning, so after the Crypt Keeper's little scene, with boobs everywhere.
So many tatas.
And John Larroquette. That was cool, but then honestly, once the car chase happened, I was like, ugh.
Even with Billy Zane?
Well, yeah, kinda, because he's not doing anything, he's just sitting there driving.
He doesn't have to do anything, he's Billy Zane.
This is not wrong.
I will tell you, I've never, particularly thought Billy Zane was, very attractive. I might have gotten hard in some of his moments.
Have you seen Orlando?
Oh
no!
Gay classic Orlando.
You gotta watch Orlando.
Okay. Okay. So we're gonna dive into this later, but I'm gonna come out front and say this right now because I'm gonna give a reading of this film that no one I don't think has ever read before. I'm just gonna fucking make it up. So. Sarah-Tai. So normally when we do this podcast, we try to pick a horror film with a queer element. Not always, a lot of times we just apply a queer reading, or we won't, whatever. We just talk about it.
Are you about to talk about the cat?
No. We were going to cover we were going to cover this film months ago, when we were being stricter on, what qualities the films had to have. We've since loosened our grip. But
except when it comes to Billy Zane.
Well, no. Okay, so here is my reading. He's so flamboyant in this movie. I think, and even though, and Jada Pinkett is never really explicitly, her sexuality is never explicitly referred to. So, I think that Billy Zane is this gay, flamboyant demon knight, and it's about gay demons going against Jeryline, queen of the black lesbians.
I mean, it's... I can see it, but I do think Billy Zane and Jada Pinkett Smith, as people and as actors, both have intense bisexual energy, even if they're not bisexual. Although,
Oh, yeah.
I've read some Jada news. She's wild and I love her.
I love her too.
But Billy Zane is like, he's like the gayest non-gay character actor. He like does all of these like intensely campy roles and like, you know, Zoolander, Titanic, like...
Oh, I forgot about Zoolander.
Yeah, like Orlando.
The Shadow, where he's
it's
wearing
like...
a very tight purple outfit.
Oh, yes. But no, he's just like he seems like he just has like a lot of fun in all of his films, and all of the films that he is cast in are just like very campy, and if they're not campy, you can very much like make a queer reading out of it, or at least a camp reading.
He is so funny.
It pains me that people know him primarily from Titanic because it's arguably his straightest, kind of least interesting
I was gonna
role,
say,
right?
That's very much a gay villain role. He's like Ursula in the Titanic.
Oh my
No, and honestly, though, that is what I mean. Like, I saw Titanic in theaters. Like, as a kid, like that's how I associated Billy Zane with Titanic. And so every time I saw him, I was like, oh, that's the guy. That's the bad guy from Titanic.
Like, Billy Zane is the hero of Titanic, in my opinion. Except for when he gets in the boat with the kid. Yeah. But, you know, the drama of it all, him and Kathy Bates.
This is true.
Yeah.
Without them, that film would have very little outside of the kind of milquetoast romance, right?
Yeah, I mean, whatever. You know, y'all had like the double VHS like set of that as like when y'all were growing up, right?
Absolutely. I'm sure so many of us had like 3 versions because they were everywhere.
Yes, I would always just put on the second VHS because I just loved watching that ship sink.
Yes.
I mean, the special effects are incredible.
Yeah, but we're gonna rewind 2 years and go to 1995 when Demon Knight came out. So
right. So I had never considered that the Collector could be anything. I mean, I'm hesitant to even say that he's flamboyant so much as he feels like a performer. Like, he reminded me a lot of the demon Trick from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the Once More with Feeling, where he's very much like a showman. He's, you know, he's getting people on his side.
No. Hey. I'm going to stop you. Mm-hmm. Trick is the demon from... Yeah, you're thinking of Sweet. From Once More with Feeling, who's in the musical. But Trick is also a good comparison, though. Trick is the villain vampire who holds Slayer Fest 98 in season 3.
Yes. But I love the kind of playfulness that Billy Zane brings to this role, where he knows he's going to win, so he's basically just fucking with everybody.
Yes.
It's... Honestly, if he wasn't in this movie, or if he wasn't giving this performance, I probably would like this movie a lot less. Every time he did something, whether it was the fucking sponge tongue...
That was so unusual.
It was so funny. And he was having so much fun, and it was such a stark contrast to what everyone else in the movie was doing. Mm-hmm. So... It's not that I didn't like everyone else, but like I wanted to watch just the movie Billy Zane was in.
I mean, he's the villain, right? So he's having more fun than everybody else.
Yes.
It's interesting because I'm normally very hard on hero protagonists because I find them exceedingly boring. But I was kind of impressed with what William Sadler brings to this role as well. I mean, he doesn't have a ton to do, but he makes Breaker kind of interesting nonetheless. ? I don't know.
No, I agree. I mean, I grew up watching him on Roswell. He was like the sheriff or something in that, and of course Die Hard 2. No, I mean, I'm into him, and I think he's, you know, he's charismatic. And like, I mean, we were just talking about a couple weeks ago in Final Destination how, like, you know, poor Devon Sawa gets stuck with the boring protagonist role. Mm-hmm. And I think Sadler has more to do in this movie, but it's kooky.
I think it's also like you know, knowing what your place is in a film, like knowing the ending with Jada, knowing the like villain here is Billy Zane, who I think like could only, outside of Billy Zane, could probably only be played to like this level by like Tim Curry or something.
Yes.
You know, I appreciate when there's like a boring quote unquote main character, even though we all know he's not the main character here. Yeah. Who just is like, this is my role, I'm gonna do it, everyone shine.
Well, and Pinkett, I think, is a very, very good final girl. Do y'all... it might be hard to like separate yourselves from this, but do you think that it's clear that she will be the final girl when all the characters are introduced in rapid succession?
I mean, I think if you were going into this cold in 1995 with the historical legacy of how Black people are treated in horror films, you would probably think that she'd be about the first or second to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that Dickerson had said that like that was one of his main goals was like reversing that dynamic. I'm someone who's watched this like maybe like 20 times, 30 times. I don't know how much I watched it as a kid, but I've watched it a shit ton as an adult. So like me watching this as a kid, like that was normal. Like I didn't have a base for which it would not be normal against, which I think is like super interesting. Because now when I watch it, I'm like, whoa, this is like pretty, I won't say revolutionary, but like transgresses a lot of like norms of the time. But I always like
for 1995,
yeah. So I don't know. It makes my heart feel warm to think of like little black girl me in the 90s seeing this and being like, oh yeah, totally normal movie.
I mean, like, what else do you... I mean, okay, so how many of us have seen horror noir?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, allow me to shamelessly plug this. So earlier this year, Fangoria produced a documentary that was essentially chronicling the history of African-American characters and actors in the horror genre. It's a really great introduction, and it provides some key milestones, different types of films that you can watch, and it's organized by decade. Ernest Dickerson is actually in it, and he's an absolute fucking delight. He's very funny and very candid.
That's good.
But yeah, like there's, especially when you get to the 90s, I mean... We've talked about this a couple of times. It's a bit of a black hole. There's some interesting things going on, but not a lot of hits. The genre has kind of fallen into disrepair as we wait for Scream to arrive in 96. Mm-hmm. But like really, when you're thinking about interesting black female protagonists, you got what, like this and fucking Brandy in I Still Know What You Did Last Summer in the 90s. Like, it's
I love Brandy,
dire.
but she's not at a Jada level.
No, she's not bringing that. She's not bringing that big dick energy for sure.
It's fun. I appreciate it. She's like Tyra Banks in Halloween H2O or whichever one she's in. You know,
Resurrection. That's so too. But I was actually going to throw this one in though. You could throw in Angela Bassett from Vampire in Brooklyn.
Yes.
Which is not a good movie, by the way.
Not a good movie, a lot. But anything with Angela Bassett is worth a watch at least once.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, to answer your question, I wouldn't... Honestly, I didn't expect her to live, even though I knew she was the final girl, because I sometimes feel like this film forgets that it has her. Like, my main takeaway was, where's the fucking Jada? I want more Jada.
You have to understand that when this was being made, she hadn't really done anything. Like, she didn't get her break until, I want to say Nutty Professor 2. I think that was, like, her big break.
Yeah.
Sorry. Ooh, Nutty Professor.
Nutty Professor 1, yeah.
Yes.
Because it's Janet in number 2.
Janet Jackson.
Janet is number 2. Yeah, they gave her character, like, some stupid reason. It's, like, because she, like, disappears between movies. It's terrible. But so... Like, and like even I think Set It Off was the same year as Nutty Professor too. So like, sorry, Nutty Professor also.
Good grammar.
So
I like it.
Yeah, but and so I think though there was also a misdirect though of like keeping her kind of in the background so you don't know who's going to survive. Or I guess you're led to believe that William Sadler is going to be the final person in this movie.
Yeah.
Until you get the kooky weird Christ backstory, which is so funny.
I love it. It's so like intentional to me and like very like winking like as a black audience member. I suppose like at the end when the final demon who's like coming to get her is also a black man. I'm like, Ernest, you really did that. You just turned this into a black ass movie.
Okay, wait. Can you elaborate on that? Because I feel like I sort of know what you mean, but I don't. I also want to hear your experience of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing that I can, I wouldn't testify in the court of law about it, but as marginalized people, we just have what we feel. And yeah, I just love that winking ending when it's like, the final demon is also black, and she's like, also the ending, if you take away the demon, it's basically just the ending to Set It Off, which I also love.
Oh, really?
She's packing her bag, she's going on a bus.
Set It Off used to be on UPN all the time, and so I've seen the opening bank robbery of that a lot, but I've never seen the rest of it.
You haven't? Oh my god.
I know!
Okay,
no,
stop the podcast, go watch Set It Off.
No, pump the brakes, we need to pause.
It's like lesbian Queen Latifah,
truly.
It's Jada Pinkett. And who are the other two? They're famous too, or one of them's famous for sure. I don't remember. But
wait, are you talking about Girls Trip?
No.
Oh my god, I'm leaving.
Anyway, I totally forgot that movie. I like that movie, actually, A Girls Trip. I forgot that it existed. But also in this movie, you have CCH Pounder, who
I fucking love.
Well, and so is she famous for any one particular thing?
Yes, The Shield. So that's the Michael Chiklis bad cop drama that ran on FX. I mean, she was famous well before that.
She's also like one of those black actors that like before Viola Davis became like the Black Meryl Streep in the past like several years, like one of the actors who's like everywhere and the quality is consistent every time, even if it's like fucking Demon Night, you know?
Yep.
But just like life, the world sucks.
I feel like she played a judge a lot in TV shows. Yeah, I don't know why.
She has legal drama energy.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh my god! Now I want like a list of who's giving off that energy.
The guy from Boston Public.
Oh my god!
Also Viola Davis, who was in Law and Order SVU.
For sure.
Boston Public. That's is that oh my god! Fuck! It's
David E. Kelly.
No. I know it's David Kelly. Wait, no, Boston Legal is David
What's
Kelly.
Boston Public?
Boston Public's the school drama, and it's Charles S. Dutton, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who I will never forgive for trying to eat Halle Berry's jaw in Gothica. It's like the most frightening thing about that movie.
Spoiler alerts for Gothica, but yes.
No. It's because they're married and he kisses her, but he looks like he's about to unhinge his jaw and just swallow the bottom half of her face.
Oh, I thought you meant because he's a bad guy. Well I
spoilers now for Gothica.
Anyway, sorry, not a Gothica podcast. We're talking about Demon Night.
So wait, what did you both give Demon Night on Letterboxd?
I gave it a 3.5.
I believe I also gave it a 3.5, but it...
You did?
Okay. I was waffling between a 3.5 and a 4, to be honest.
See, and I was between a 3 and a 3.5, but honestly, the whole sequence from when Jada gets the artifact through the ballroom dance number.
Oh my god.
That's my dream. Like, if I could have one thing in my life, I want Billy Zane to ballroom dance me in like a sexually threatening way.
And bathing her, like, I was just...
Okay, so let's talk about that scene, because I was mildly uncomfortable. I mean, I know, okay, so there's apparently a backstory here, which is that after Jada Pinkett was cast, one of the producers was basically like, so...
Joel Silver.
I don't think it was, but to be honest, I also would not be surprised if he was. They apparently were like, so the collector character is gonna like fuck her, right? And Ernest Dickerson was like, no, he's a demon. He's not sexual. And they were like, no, but like, she's hot. So he's gotta like wanna fuck her. And so apparently they would not relent, and Ernest Dickerson ended up making the compromise, and that's why the collector ends up like shooting dick energy lightning.
Fire crotch.
Yeah.
When that happened, I was like, what?
I somehow always forget because like that kind of effect style isn't used within the film, so it's like it doesn't matter how much I've seen this film, every time I'm like, oh yeah,
it really
fire
stands
crotch.
out. Because you're honestly like, this feels not like it's coming from a different movie, but it's unexpected, to say the least.
Yeah.
I mean, it works for me in as much as, like, Tales from the Crypt is really just a messy bitch anyway, you know?
Oh, yeah. So, Trace, you wouldn't know this, but the series kind of becomes legendary because of the fact that it's on HBO. They can get away with, like, tits and swearing and all kinds of amoral content.
Well, no, because, okay, I want to say, and I mean, this is a extreme statement, but it was the first show of HBO to, like, take advantage of the lack of censor stuff, right?
I think so. It's also like one of their, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's also one of their first television series, like proper.
So the movie Demon Night itself, the post, like the story that the Crypt Keeper is telling, there are no boobs except for in Dick Miller's titty bar segment.
Oh my goodness. What is that?
I wanted more of like little vignettes of him trying to seduce everybody.
I did like those a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I did. No, and like I love the CCH Pounder where he serves her arm on a platter and then she's like, I'm flipping you off.
That was amazing.
She has the best lines in this film.
Yeah, she does. And her decision to just blow herself up, I was like, bitch, no.
Supper time.
Yeah.
That definitely felt like, we don't know how to get rid of this character, but we need to only end with Jada, so...
Yes, we can only have one black woman.
Yes, basically.
There's two is too many.
Ernest, you're taking it too far.
We don't want to scare the audiences. Heavens.
Yeah. But yeah, so this story, though, isn't based on one of the Tales from the Crypt comics, and it doesn't really have a lot of, like, it has the tone, like, the kind of mix of comedy and the horror, but, like, those graphic, like, sexual elements aren't in it, so I guess that's why they did the opening segment. In the show, like, the Crypt Keeper would just, like, pop up and, like, tell, like, a short anecdote and then go. There wouldn't be, like, a whole scene before it, right?
No, but he apparently does this in all of the movies. So he does this in Bordello of Blood, and then apparently there's also a third film which is not. It is and is not considered canonical, but it's a movie called Ritual, in which he apparently has dreadlocks, and the story is a modern adaptation of I Walked with a Zombie.
But Jennifer Grey is in it.
Yeah, she's the lead, and it takes place in Jamaica.
And Tim Curry, I think. Speaking of Tim Curry,
he is. Yeah.
I have to see. I mean, I think it's Jennifer Grey post nose job too.
Yeah, because it's like I think it's 2002, so
yeah.
It's late, which is it's so weird that it is and is not, and people don't really like. I had never heard of it, so
I just love how Tales from the Crypt is just a nice place for actors to just live. Mm-hmm. Every once in a while, Jennifer Grey, come on down.
Well, and the cast in this movie is, I mean, I'm loath to use the word stacked, but like it's a lot of recognizable names or character actors. I mean, like fucking Dick Miller, the guy who plays Wally. In the randomest subplot ever though, who is gonna go blow up a post office or go shoot up a post office. He's the Dream Doctor from the original Nightmare on Elm Street.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really? I was like, why is this character here? He's not really contributing anything except to reveal early on that Roach is a huge fucking asshole.
Once you read everyone's like filmographies, it all comes together in this little twisted Crypt Keeper stew.
Yeah, and then, you can do like 6 degrees of whoever with anyone in this cast, pretty much.
Especially at this time in their filmography too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's like people were coming off big hits, but they, like, I don't know that you would really call any of them super famous. Like, I was watching this and being like, hey, dad from Gremlins. Hey, like, this guy. And then you're like, I don't know if people would have known them for these things back in the day.
Well, Dick Miller is not the dad from Gremlins. He's Mr. What's-His-Face, the neighbor.
But fuck your neighbor, Trace.
He's done a lot of Roger Corman movies. And he's also in Piranha, the original. He's in The Howling. He's in Small Soldiers. Like, he's a big character actor in the horror community. Joe, we don't have to talk about this for a lot, but I did want to point out that the cinematographer on this movie, Rick Bota, is the director of Hellraiser Deader, Hellseeker, and Hellworld.
Yeah. Sometimes it's good when people step from behind, like the various production capacities, and they get behind the camera, and it's like their opportunity to grow as artists. I can't say that about Rick Bota. Those films are shit.
When I was making my little sheet, I was like, Rick Bota, that sounds so fucking familiar. Yep. Why does that sound familiar? I couldn't figure out what it was. And then I was like, oh, right, because I did a fucking Hellraiser marathon last year, and that name is scarred in my brain, because I saw it 3 times in a row.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he is maybe better at, what is it, cinematography?
Maybe. I mean, like, well, I mean, like, I don't
good at Rick Bota.
I don't think the cinematography in this movie is like, it's not bad. It's just not like, it's not special.
The editing's good. I always like watching this now in the past few years as I've worked more as a critic. Like, technically speaking, this is a pretty sound movie. Like, the editing is good. The effects are very good for like the time.
Oh, the practical effects are great.
Yes. They're so good. It's like I don't have anything to add to that other than it's so good.
But I think it's really surprising to, like, can you imagine this film without those practical effects and like the creature design and stuff? Like, part of what makes this film so compelling, like when the collector slits open his wrist and just begins flinging his like gooey neon blood, and then these creatures come out of it, it's a legitimate like wow factor moment. This film really starts at that point.
Wait, explain, please.
I just relate to it. I'm like, hello, it's me and my demons. I'm gonna kiss one on its juicy little head. But I think that's like part of that, like the effects design being so good is you can look back at it and it's campy, but it's like technically not deficient at all. Mm-hmm. And then when you like put that alongside the cast, you're just like, whoa. They don't make him like this anymore. I obviously gave it 5 stars on Letterboxd. I'm not gonna lie. I love this.
No, I mean, though, wait, girl, I have Anaconda and Deep Blue Sea with 5 stars on Letterboxd. Thank
you so much for introducing me to this term, aquatic horror. It's like all... I feel like I have a name for a feeling that I never knew what it was.
And we're on the cusp of an aquatic horror renaissance this summer, too.
Because we're getting Crawl, an alligator movie by Alexander Aja in July, and we're getting 47 Meters Down, Uncaged in August. So, I thought the rules of this universe were maybe ill-defined.
I feel like the rules are just like chatter, like narrative chatter. Like every time I watch it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a rule. It's like this movie isn't about the story. It's not. It's about Billy Zane hamming it up, Jada Pinkett Smith being a wanted badass. Like these, it's like it feels like it's a character movie with that's made for like the effects and just like highlighting the campiness of it. I don't think people are expecting like John Steinbeck here. From
Well, then I was like, okay, so really quickly, I want to read out the what the backstory with the Jesus shit is, and I took this from Wikipedia.
Can I ask one thing before you start?
Yeah.
Why are there 3 Jesuses?
No. It's one Jesus, but in the Bible, like there were he was crucified between 2 other criminals.
I just learned something about religion. Thank you. I was like...
I thought you meant that the Jesus was played by 3 different actors in the flashbacks, and I was like, oh, I didn't see that.
No, that's my my young Catholic upbringing coming out. I also saw The Passion of the Christ in theaters, and I was eating snow caps as they were like, like torturing him, and my mom was aghast.
Oh my gosh.
You are a sick bitch.
Is that some kind of like alternative gay coming of age thing?
Maybe, dude. I mean, I remember seeing Passion of the Christ in theaters, and I was like, you won't let me watch fucking like Halloween, but you'll let me watch this shit with fucking like chunks of skin coming out of his side from this whip. Ugh. Like
it's religious snuff.
It's torture porn, for sure. But before Hostel even came out, I think. No, maybe it was after.
I think just after.
It was before. No, it was 04, I think. I remember it was Ash Wednesday, I think. It was Ash Wednesday, yes, it was.
Yes, but Hostel came out in January.
Right, but I think it was the year after that. Like I think because Hostel was 05, 06, whereas Passion of the Christ was... Well, it's not important.
I've never heard Hostel and Passion of the Christ discussed so passionately in the same sentence, so thank you.
The real question is, which one are we more passionate about? I think we all know
Honestly, though, we could probably cover Passion of the Christ this podcast because it's a horror movie, like 100%, and it's about religion, and we can talk about, I don't know, gay shit.
I was gonna say, can we just talk about like Jesus's hunky body just getting like whipped and chained?
It's Jim Caviezel, man, and Jim Caviezel can get it.
Jim Caviezel. Not to get too off topic, but you should read his Wikipedia. He's a little bit of a strange one.
He's crazy and
he's
super religious.
No, and I grew up watching him in Frequency like a lot because my mom watched that movie all the time, and it's
proper Christian drama.
Yeah, but he's nutty as a fruitcake. It's insane. So yeah, that's your Jesus explanation. He was crucified between 2 criminals. I think one of them like talked. Whatever, it's not important. So okay, let me take you on a history lesson. Following this is biblical canon, by the way. Following the creation of Earth by God, demons use 7 keys to which I don't know how. Demons use 7 keys to focus the power of the cosmos into their hands. When discovered, which I'm imagining like these demons holding these keys, and they're just like frozen, like we got caught. God created light, which scattered the demons and the keys across the universe. The artifact that Breaker, William Sadler, holds is the last key needed to reclaim power, so the demons have found 6 of the 7 keys. Mm-hmm. And to protect it, God had a thief named Sirach, fill it with the blood of Jesus Christ during the crucifixion. He did not let the other 2 criminals' blood matter. They were just dead. Yeah. The guardians of the key, immortal while holding it, have since passed it on, refilling it with their own blood when they die. And Breaker... So, my thing is... So, they're immortal when they have it, and they're literally just running away their entire lives.
There's no fighting at all.
and when they die, they just put their blood in it, assuming they have time, and give it to someone else.
Mm-hmm. But only
seems
apparently
like a
worthy successor, because it seems like you have to be a divine successor of some kind, because Breaker suggests that he knew that Jada was an appropriate successor.
Well, they have that conversation where she's like, I knew you weren't gonna hurt me. There's some kind of like moral, spiritual connection vibe that they're clearly trying to play out, but honestly, just let the hellmouth open. Let me be with my people.
She's like, I'm getting a rapey vibe from that other dude, and not so much you, so I'm gonna assume you're a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 92 minutes. You know, they breeze by some plot elements, but not that fucking description of how these keys work.
Yeah, which really, why don't you just say, like, hey, the introduction of this crucifixion blood stuff is such an odd choice.
I also love how it's like everyone's like in the midst of fighting demons, fighting for their lives, and they're like, we need the rules!
No, I do love that. No, it's like, you owe us an explanation. It's like, I mean, you don't want to like...
Time and place.
Yeah.
Also, they're like, we just... they have to make it through the night. Why just the night?
That's the thing. They suggest that we just have to make it through the night, and that I think it's actually clarified, like, no, like, we're fucked if we don't do something to get away from them. Like, daylight will not help us.
And then the black demon at the end, it's like daytime.
Well, and also, okay, here's my thing. When they do it has to be, you know, we have to make it the night, and they're all, like, safe in one area. Fucking wait it out. Like, don't move. Just sit there.
Well, okay, but we all know that this is a trope from horror films, right? So you lock people into a confined area, and then you've got to have some asshole who's like, I'm going to break the barrier because I don't trust it. I need to find a way out.
Some outline of rules that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, which is why we have the Roach character.
And yeah, I mean, I'm putting the plot under scrutiny, and it's obviously not a plot that asks for scrutiny. Like, this is a fun, silly
Leave
movie.
Demon Knight alone!
All of our listeners are like, God damn it, Trey, shut the fuck up. No one cares.
This movie is fun. Stop trying to pick holes in the plot.
It's a perfect movie with titties in it. Titty movie. I always forget how much boobs are in this, because, like, you know, when you're watching this as a kid, it's like this weird thing where they're trying to keep you from seeing it, but once you see it, it's like not sexualized because you're a kid, so you're just like, oh, bodies. So now being older, I'm like, well, there's a lot of titties in this movie.
Okay, so I know we totally blew past it, but like the opening sequence with the femme fatale who like murdered her husband with an axe, and it's just her in the bathtub and a close up just right on her tits, and they are some big titties.
Oh, those are like fake boobs to the max.
90s boobies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love how like the whole Tales of the Crypt brand, like, very much rests on the Crypt Keeper being this, like...
He's such a perv.
Like, horn dog hetero, when, like, you look at all his, like, you know, how he's talking, what he's wearing, hello, boys and girls, I'm like, honey, you are gay. You are a lascivious homosexual.
Yes.
Hello, kiddies. Like, that does not seem like hetero to me.
Who do you think you're fooling with that neckerchief?
Actually, is John Cassier gay? Do we know that?
I don't know.
Maybe not.
Crypt Keeper is definitely like a queer idol, I would say. Not as far-fetched as my Billy Zane is a queer idol. Definitely more solid.
Wait, he's not gay, but do y'all know who he was married to for fucking 9 years?
Let me guess. Someone who would a gay, not gay person be? Jennifer Tilly? The chick from Legally Blonde, the Bend and Snap woman. I always forget her name.
Jennifer Coolidge?
Yes, thank you.
So, he was married to Julie Benz from 1998 to 2007.
What? And my Buffy connection was real?
Yeah. And she is 15 years his junior.
Wow, Crypt Keeper can get it.
Yeah, she was married to
we're
him.
talking about the Crypt Keeper. I thought we were talking about Billy Zane, because I was like, hot couple alert.
Oh, no. Sorry, yeah. I was talking about John Cassier.
I'm disappointed. Boner killer.
Wait, I thought when y'all were talking about, like this character's gay, I thought you were talking about the Crypt Keeper.
We were, but...
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I was going all over the map.
I was thinking about Billy Zane again, because that baby face... is just gorge.
Well, yeah, so John Kassir and Julie Benz were married for 7 years, and then she married some other guy in 2012. I actually know John Kassir from Reefer Madness, the movie musical. When he... Have you seen it?
No, I just know that Kristen Bell sings in it.
Yeah, well, no, because he sings a song to her when he gets her to smoke weed, and she gets in a leather dominatrix outfit and spanks his naked butt.
Okay.
It's gonna be a no for me. Mm-mm.
No, dude, no. It's Anna Gasteyer, Steven Weber, Nev Campbell's brother, Nev Campbell. It's
the Campbells.
My DVD box is brown and it smells like chocolate brownies.
Okay, but we don't want to know why, right?
No, it's supposed to be like pop brownies. It's all about... Oh, Alan Cumming's in it? Oh, God. Fucking... Sorry. Walk
Alan
through Madness.
Cumming.
It's so funny.
I will take this part of the podcast to tell you all about my mortal nemesis, iconic pansexual Alan Cumming.
Wait,
who
what?
I love all of his roles, but here's what happened. Hello, kiddies. Here's what happened. When I was 12 years old at a roller rink, probably after I finished watching Demon Knight,
Oh my
Alan
God, where
Cumming
is this going?
bullied me at a roller rink when I was 12 years old.
Oh my God.
A mean man. Yeah.
I'm
Keep
sorry,
this in the podcast.
So wait, what did he do? He ran you over at a rolling ring?
No, he bullied me.
How so?
He was just being mean, like exactly what you would say to like a small child with huge glasses who's overweight trying to fucking rollerblade at a roller rink. And the worst part is Anna Paquin was watching because they were filming X-Men or something. So it's
Oh my God.
one of my I've only been in a roller rink once, and it's when Alan Cumming was bullying me and Anna Paquin was watching.
Oh my God. And she, the bystander effect.
Yes. And her thong was sticking out because it was the early 2000s.
Yes.
And she's bisexual too.
Well, I don't care about her.
I don't care for her at all. No, I like it. Sorry, that's a you quote. That's not a me quote. We are not cutting that out. That is hilarious.
Please, tell everyone. Because everyone's like, oh, you must love Alan Cumming. I'm like, you know what, I do, but I have some trauma.
Yeah. He is on blast alert.
One day I'm gonna tell him just what he did to me.
Alan Cumming could have been a good collector. Alan Cumming could have been a good collector, though. He's flamboyant enough for it.
He absolutely is. Yes.
I will say that I'm sorry to go back to Billy Zane. Actually, no, fuck no, I'm not. His seduction voice, like when he's talking to Cordelia, the sex worker, oh my God, that voice was so good.
Trace, you gotta watch Orlando. You gotta watch it.
I don't know I've never heard of this. I don't know what this is.
It's by Sally Potter.
Baby.
It's a classic of feminist film. It's Billy Zane and Tilda Swinton making love.
Okay, so speaking of gay, we have danced around it. Can we spend 60 seconds talking about how the first half of this film is comprised of Jada trying to find pussy?
Yes, she goes from like a soft butch to like a hard femme, which I guess is interchangeable. It's Pride Month. I'm not out here trying to label, but it's like very interesting when you can see like queer coding that's clearly not being undertaken by queer people, and you're like, something is like, she's got the bandana and she's got like the big baggy like denim thing, and then she suddenly turns into this kind of like sex object, but not too intensely. I'm just like, this is interesting.
Now, for our listeners, Sarah-Tai, can you define the butch versus femme, just in case they aren't aware of what you're talking about?
Oh my gosh. Oh, this is a whole other podcast in itself.
We worry that we sometimes have baby queer listeners who are maybe
hello, baby queers. Happy Pride.
We also have hetero listeners, which...
Hello to you too, I guess.
Yeah, if you have to be here. No.
Baby queers, you don't have to be butch or femme. It's from an older time.
No. We actually have received mail from emails, not mail.
Yes, it was delivered by
mail?
Stork.
No, from straight listeners who were like,
straight people send mail. We're reading.
I sat down at my desk with my pen in hand.
It's one of those ink pens where you like dip in the ink.
Mm-hmm. Oh, a quill.
A quill, yes, there you go. Oh, good movie also, Quills. Not related. No, but there was one that was like, I thought I knew a lot about sex, and y'all taught me differently. So I was like, yay!
For clarity's sake, they did not write y'all. That's just Trace's.
Oh yeah, sorry. That was my interpretation of her language.
Okay, I won't define butch or femme because that is a huge task, which has to have so many, like, footnotes. But I will give some examples.
Okay.
Butch. Queen Latifah, and Set It Off. Katie Lang on the cover with Cindy Crawford being shaved. Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah.
She's fighting it, but we know.
She's working on it. Yeah.
Femme. Jennifer Tilly. Oh my god, sorry, Butch. Gina Gershon.
What? I said Gina Gershon. Oh.
Inbound, obviously.
Okay, this is an important
Sarah-Tai?
clarification because I immediately went to Showgirls and I was like, no.
Sarah-Tai.
Yes.
I think we've mentioned this on like 3 of the previous episodes, but Joe has never seen Bound.
Oh my
No,
god.
I don't want to hear this. I know.
Why?
I know it is a problem. It is a deficiency. It's a personal deficiency that I have not seen it at this point. And I'm sorry.
So good. Like, Gina Gershon, also one of those, I'm too young to be watching erotic thrillers, and I know I'm gay at a very young age because of Gina Gershon.
Gina Gershon is she's a certified sexual orientation changer. Like, if you are straight
Truly.
and you see Gina Gershon, you are now gay.
She is a sexual chameleon.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean,
That means Trace doesn't know what to say to that.
I was trying to think, like, would I fuck Jennifer Tilly or Gina Gershon?
Okay, you have to be careful. Jennifer Tilly apparently listens to this podcast now. So.
Hi, Jennifer.
No. I think she listened to the beginning of our Cedar Truckee episode. That's what I think happened.
But also, you absolutely would sleep with both of them.
I would. Yeah, honestly.
It's wild this is a question. Obviously, we would all sleep with Jennifer Tilly.
Yes.
Well, yeah, because, like, are you going to pass up a chance to sleep with Jennifer Tilly and or Gina Gershon?
No.
What are you,
No.
crazy?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, so, no, I'm in agreement. Would you pass up a chance to sleep with Jada Pinkett, circa 1995?
Absolutely. Obviously I would. I'd be like 1 degree from sleeping with Tupac, first of all.
Hmm.
The 90s were great for Jada. She really did a lot of things. And people. How did we get here?
I don't know. We have done a lot of tangents this episode. And it's not because there's not a lot to talk about in this movie, but also it kind of is. But
Talk to me about how she's chasing pussy.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Jada Pinkett was chasing pussy.
I was saying it's interesting how it's like the queer coding is very, like, you can tell a queer person isn't doing it, which for me is like what makes the fun of seeing something that's like queer coded.
Mm-hmm,
You know? It's like searching it out rather than having it handed to you on a platter.
Yeah.
But it's just funny how she begins, and they've clearly like kind of fashioned her as this kind of like light
a handy
stud
woman.
figure, right? Generally speaking, this just points back to the fact that I love this movie because it's just so confused in the best way.
I want to comment on something you said though. So, you said if it's not a queer creator, you can look for the queer coding, but you have to look harder. So something that Joe and I are always accused of, like I think the last one was Final Destination, when we tried to code Kara Smith's Carter bully character as gay.
He's gay.
So
it's
gay.
always, you're reaching.
Yeah.
Not everything has to be gay. We get it. You're gay. Not everything else is gay.
That's all I hear every day. My inbox every day whenever I write something is someone being like, not everything has to be about race. And I'm like, except when it is. And like, even if it's not, like, what's the harm in like finding ourselves in something that doesn't have us in it? Like, who are we hurting?
Yeah, your
Exactly,
reading
like-
is not being taken away from you.
Yeah,
but
you can still have your
now
stuff.
have a new reading.
Yeah.
Like, I can imagine people in the 90s being, confused at the fact that, oh, how did this black woman end up inheriting this film? What happened to my white guy hero? But also, like, I can easily imagine people not understanding the implications of, like, what that moment would feel like for
Totally.
black audiences. Like, it's fucking empowering being a white audience member.
It's like the beginning of Scream 2. Like, I always, like, I don't know. I was talking with someone about Scream 2, and I was like, one of the most iconic black woman in horror performances of all time. And they were like, she dies in the first 5 minutes. I'm like, that's the whole film. The film is done when she's dead.
It's a mini vignette.
It's like a beautiful, like, self-reflexive it's a piece of art. I love that.
Okay,
But
you are
yeah.
speaking our language because we are hardcore Scream 2 fans, like more than Scream 1 fans.
Yeah. No, like Scream 2 is the best Scream film.
Scream
I'm
2,
sorry.
gayer.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I mean, Jesus Christ, fucking Laurie Metcalf is like an icon.
Mhm.
She is iconic in that movie.
We've got chunky fucking hair on all of the women.
Yes.
We've got Sarah Michelle Gellar, We've got Rebecca fucking Gayheart shoehorned in with Portia de Rossi. Like, so gay. So fucking gay.
But yeah, I mean, when people get all up in arms about having readings of films, I'm like, do I come into your house at night when you're sleeping and go into your dreams and tell you that your dreams are not right? Like, it's just not, and this, I don't know. This was a great time for Jada in those worlds, I think.
Yeah. I wish Jada would do more horror. Like, she's great in
I know,
this. She's great in
such
Scream
a genre queen.
But I don't think she likes horror. I could be just talking my ass here, but I feel like she doesn't like horror.
I think she does. Little known fact, Jada Pinkett Smith, still to this day, is in a band called Wicked Wisdom, which is a nu metal band.
What?
Jada is a little hardcore.
Wow.
Don't let Fresh Prince stuff fool you.
Ew, so she got seduced to the boring side by Will Smith?
But every once in a while she still goes on stage in her hardware-laden clothing to sing some nu metal. She's the lead singer.
But just so we're clear, they're each other's beards, right? It's like Scientology nonsense.
I'm fine with whatever they're doing. I don't feel the need to be a detective about it like I do with, Swizz Beatz and Alicia Keys, who are clearly each other's beards. Because they're just clearly doing some, like, weird sex stuff. And I'm like, you know what? Whatever. That's truly the spirit of gayness if you're going to be straight like that.
Oh, there's so much hot tea being spilled on this episode.
I mean, every other week there's like a new thing. Jada's like, I'm having a threesome, bro. And I'm like, you know what? Live your life. I love it. If I had to pick straight people to continue being in this world once the Hellmouth opens, I would definitely choose them.
Fair enough. Okay. I will support that.
And Billy Zane.
Do we want to maybe play a game about Demon Knight?
I think we should. I actually have no idea what your game could possibly be, so...
Okay, so we talked about the semi-fraught history of how this film came together and how it was originally intended to be the second film, but then Bordello of Blood ended up becoming that, and apparently the key was meant to appear in all of these films. Mm-hmm. Apparently it also does show up in Bordello of Blood, but I can't be bothered to watch that nonsense because I have no interest in seeing, what's-his-face, that comedian guy. Dennis Miller, I think.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I like you said him.
I don't have a lot of patience for comedians in movies. Like, they have to be really good to transition over from
that square-faced guy.
Okay, wait, no. So you know how, like we said at the beginning of this episode, how I have, like, certain topics that I'm, like, expert in, like, everything else outside of it is, like, nothing.
Yeah, I think we led with the deficiency and then talked about how you're good at a certain couple things, yeah.
Well, Joe hates a lot of things.
I'm just a cynical bitch.
Or, like, has, like, groups of things he just really doesn't like, and he's just closed off to it 100%.
I mean, same.
No.
Trace doesn't support.
Don't aspire to be that way. That's not cool. No one likes no one likes a bitter bitch.
I am a negative Nancy, the original lesbian.
Fine. What's your fucking game, Jim?
A, Canadians Unite. Thank you for supporting me, Sarah-Tai. So the game is Jada gets on a fucking bus and this black collector tries to get on, but he can't because she's, Jimmy-proofed it with, blood of Christ, whatever. What does the sequel to Demon Knight look like? You've got to keep Jada. But what else happens?
Honestly, my mind just goes to the Buffy episode where the Hellmouth does open. Or like Blade.
Yes.
The little chamber.
Ooh.
I don't have a full movie. I just have an opening shot for you.
Okay. Trace can
See,
work with that.
Well, I was just thinking, like, okay, I'm going to be in the minds of the executive. I'm like, well, it worked the first time. Let's just do it again. And it's the exact same concept, but a different setting. So, it's like how people are always like, oh, like, I wish, like, a Friday the 13th would, like, do a winter setting. Like, put it in, like, the snow.
Oh, my God. More winter horror. That's what I want.
Right? So why not, like, so she's in, like, the hot, like, wherever the fuck this movie takes place. Why don't we get her to, like, Colorado on a ski trip?
Oh my God.
I always love the way blood looks in snow, so that they have to keep using the blood of Christ mixed with William Sadler in the snow. Give me like a snow cabin slasher demon movie with a bunch of spring breaking kids.
Oh my God, you know what I want? I want a crossover. I want Jada meets Blade. That's what I want. That's exactly what I want.
Yours is probably the better movie, but...
Yeah, because Trace, yours kind of sounds like a winter Evil Dead, which this film sort of has.
This is like a summer Evil Dead inside a church with a mine shaft underneath, mine tunnels. So, I mean, I don't see what the problem is, but whatever.
Also, it's very much like they underscore like 5 times in the film that it's a church, but it does not look like a church. They could have used that to make it more spooky, but it's just a shack.
Yeah. Let's go up to the steeple. We'll be safe there.
Yes.
This just looks like a fucking attic.
Ooh, the bell thing. I'll hang off it.
I was very confused by the geography of this building.
Oh, yeah. They seem to magically get down to those tunnels without encountering any of the creatures and back up again, despite the fact that when they then get to the top floor, the creatures can get all the way up the stairs.
Again, the rules...
Yeah, they're inconsistent.
It's like Fight Club. There are no rules.
Yes, and we don't talk about them.
Yes. Except when they're all safe and they're like, wait, stop the movie. Exposition.
There's going to be that one person who needs to know the rules.
Yeah. And in this case, I think it was it CCH Pounder?
I feel like it was her, but also Roach.
Yeah, Roach.
Yeah. Who once again, mesh shirt.
Sexy Ernest.
You know what? My husband has a thing for white trash. Like, he's, like, really turned on by, like, gross, like, white trash-looking people.
Wait, what is this saying about you?
No, I have literally asked that exact same question many times. But I feel like, I guess now you and him would get along, because, like, I'll just, like, give y'all mesh shirts to wear, and y'all can just, like, look at yourselves in the mirror.
Happy Pride, everybody. Okay, so, interesting. So we've got, like, Jada Blade meets Spring Breakers in the winter. Okay. This has been interesting. I don't think it's going to get the green light, kids, but nice try.
I want to know what these failed movies were. The ones that did, like, the 2 that were planned that didn't happen. I was like, what wasn't good enough for Tales from the Crypt?
Yeah, and was it honestly just that Bordello of Blood tanked financially so badly? Which, honestly, it's Dennis Miller and fucking vampires. Like, it basically sounds like they tried to do the Titty Twister, but Quentin Tarantino beat them to it.
Yeah, as it probably came out right after From Dusk Till Dawn, which I don't even think made that much money anyway. Mm-hmm. And maybe John Carpenter's Vampires was around the same time.
Oh, yeah, God.
That might have been 98, actually. Don't quote me on that.
Okay. I think we're done. Sarah-Tai, anything else you wanna lament? You wanna proclaim your love for anything else in Demon Knight?
I think I've proclaimed a lot.
I mean, I got this Alan Cumming, Anna Paquin revenge story out of it.
Oh my god. Remember when I lost my mind and I almost couldn't talk remembering my Alan Cumming trauma? Yeah.
I mean, it was the highlight.
Yes. Okay, well, yeah, I think that'll wrap up our discussion of Tales from the Crypt Presents Demon Knight. Before we announce what we're covering next week, Sarah-Tai, plug away. What would you like to plug?
Apart from Billy Zane.
Apart from... Yeah.
Oh, that was clever. I laughed at that.
Excuse me. Yeah, I got a bunch of Zane torrents downloading as we speak. I'm on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter. It's Sarah-Tai. No hyphen, because they won't allow it, because they're anti-hyphen. You can also find me monthly at the Royal. I do a series called Black Gold, which focuses on Black representation in film. I do all kinds of film. It's not just...
it's not just genre-based.
Not just genre, but also not just, like, highbrow stuff. I am really... I like to democratize things a lot, so... And Halloween is pretty much around the corner from a programming standpoint, and we have some exciting things in store.
Ooh, Toronto folks represent.
Yeah. And I think that's about it.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Sarah-Tai. This has been enlightening. Well, okay. Well, if you want to reach us on Twitter, you can reach me at Traced Thurman.
And I'm at B Stole My Remote. That's the letter B.
And if you're tweeting about the podcast, please use the hashtag HorrorQueers in your tweets, or you can email us at horrorqueers@gmail.com. We also now have a newly minted Facebook group that you can join and talk to other listeners about. On whatever. If you have 2 seconds, please head over to iTunes and leave us a rating. If you have 30 seconds, please leave us a rating and a review. It's super easy. If you want even more content, please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/horrorqueers, where you can sign up for exclusive bonus episodes covering recent horror films like Ari Aster's Midsummer.
Yeah.
Plus, if you're a patron, you get a newsletter on the first day of each month that will let you know our entire film schedule for that month, so you can make fun of everyone else who doesn't know. Joe, I feel like since we discussed aquatic horror and mentioned David E. Kelley in this episode, you should tell us what we're covering next week, which has both of those things.
It's almost like we were planting little nuggets, little clues. Yeah. So...
I feel used.
So we are going to venture out to the country for a relaxing vacation with Bridget Fonda, and we're going to be checking out Lake Placid. No? Nobody goes for relaxing vacations with Bridget Fonda?
I've again, the movie's the same situation with this one, where it's like, I've seen parts of it on TV, and I've never seen it uncut in its entirety.
That was also a big alligator time for films.
This is true.
And actually, fortuitous timing, it is going to drop the same weekend that Crawl comes to theaters.
Yes, double dipping on that. I don't even know if it's a crocodile or an alligator. I'm going to have to research what the fuck
I don't know what it is.
So.
But I know we got Betty White saying fuck a lot, so I'm in.
This is true. Yeah.
Okay, well, on that note, I think we can cross out Demon Night.
Yes, and cross out horror queers.
This episode was brought to you by the Bloody Disgusting Podcast Network, delivering your weekly horror podcast fix. To find more episodes of this show and others, please visit bloodydisgusting.com/podcast network.
Get in, losers. This is the Lady Killers, a Feminine Rage podcast. I'm Jen.
I'm Sammy.
I'm Rocco.
And I'm May. Our podcast is a tribute to the female-identifying killers in horror and more.
Each episode will feature us, your Supreme Court of female murderers, discussing our favorite lady killers, from your Julias and Jennifers to your Carries and Christines.
We'll tell her story, decide if it's good for her horror, and answer the most important question of all: would we die for her?
Join us on Thursdays as we pull on our sweaters, snatch our ice picks, sharpen our scissors, and honor the lady killers who live on the silver screen.
No boys were harmed in the making of this podcast.
Yet.
It was late in the afternoon when the professor and I took our way towards the east, whence I knew Jonathan was coming.
Jonathan Harker has asked me to note this, as he says he is hardly equal to the task, and he wants an exact record kept.
Dear Madam Mina, I have read your husband's so wonderful diary. Strange and terrible as it is true. I will pledge my life on it.
God preserve my sanity, for to this I am reduced. Safety and the assurance of safety are things of the past.
I am in hopes that I shall see more of you at Castle Dracula.
Listen to Regarding Dracula wherever you listen to podcasts, or find us online at bloody.fm.